Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl me, Heavenly Food, and I wanted to come and make this video. Ooh, okay, hold on. I'm just gonna cut my part out. I wanted to come and make this video. Ooh, not my shirt. I wanted to come and make this video because I found like a little, just something I wanted to get off my chest about this whole Shannon Sharp thing. And in no way, shape, or form am I trying to pile on Shannon Sharp. I think that man has a lot going on for him. But I just wanted to make this distinction because I really think it's important. And also, I've come to this in my own life. And there's a crossroad. There's something you got to understand about things. So, little story time. So, back when I was 21 and I bought my first car, I had my first big girl. Not my first big girl job. I think like my second or third. So, had my big girl job. And I had came home from college, right? And when I was on my way home from college, I got my job back home, everything. All my friends that I had known prior to college had gone off and did their own things. Probably wasn't even in the state of Illinois anymore, so I really didn't have any of my friends that I messed with before college. And then all my other college friends were back in another state. So, because I went to school out of state. So, I really didn't have no friends outside of my work friends. And, you know, so when it came time to me wanting to hang out and none of my work friends could hang out, I was like, ooh, I need some more friends. So I got on Facebook dating, right? And I was like, okay, I need me some new friends. Male, female, trans, gay, don't care. I just need some new friends. And so I met this girl, right? And she lived in the same area I lived in or whatever. So I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. You live down the street from me. I mean, it wouldn't really been an issue because I had my own car at the time. So now mind y'all, on the dating app, on Facebook dating app, I think her age was like 22, maybe 21. So I didn't think nothing of it. So fast forward, we pick a day to hang out. We start hanging out, right? Now, at the time, I worked at a dispensary. I smoked weed. That's what I did. You know, woo-woo. But I suggested that we do other things. Now, at the time, it was cold outside. But, you know, Chicago people, we don't really care about that cold. We be outside, okay? So it was cold outside. So the stuff I like to do was more so outdoors. So I was like, ooh, well, let's go to a bar. Let's go here. She was like, nah, I really don't want to go there. Okay. And, you know, she's like, no, I don't really want to do that. You know, let's just smoke, chill, hang out. I'm like, okay, cool. So I go pick her up and we start smoking. She don't even know how to inhale. I'm like, okay, well, you suggested this. So how do you not know how to inhale and you the one suggested to smoke? All right, red flag. Then she didn't know how to roll. Now, I wasn't tripping about not knowing how to roll because I knew how to smoke, but I didn't know how to roll when I first started smoking weed. So I wasn't really tripping about that. But you not knowing how to inhale and you the one suggested us smoking? Yeah, that's a red flag. So I basically had to teach her, right? Okay, cool. So after that, she go get some food, right? She want to go get some food. So we go get some food. We go to her job. She worked at a fast food restaurant. We went there, got her some food. So after we got her some food, she was like, I want to drink. Let's go out. I was like, I thought you said you didn't want to go to the bar. I suggested that we go to the bar because I'm 21 now. I like to go to the bar. And if I like to drink, I don't drink alone unless I'm by myself. If I'm drinking, I don't go to the liquor store, get a bottle, come back, unless that's just what other people own. But for me personally, if I'm gonna drink with others, I like to go to the bar or just somewhere where you can buy drinks and go out. Like, I like the experience or whatever. And she was like, yeah, I don't want to go to a bar because I can't get in. I was like, what you mean you can't get in? What, you banned or something? Like, what? She was like, no, I'm underage. I'm like, girl, how old are you? Mind you, I'm driving. I'm trying to stay on the road. I'm trying to stay focused. She's like, she was either 19 or 20. I don't remember. But she was either 19 or 20. And I was like, I was like, but your profile said this age. She was like, yeah, you know, Facebook don't let you change your age on there. And I was like, oh, shit, now that I got age catfished or whatever. I thought that was funny. But it just made me think like, oh, I didn't sign up for this. Like, this is not what I was thinking when I said I wanted friends. You know what I'm saying? And so I was contemplating on what to do moving forward. But she kept pressing the issue that she wanted alcohol. I'm like, but you can't go buy any. You're not of age. You're not 21. So why you keep pressing the issue that you want to drink, you know, for real? So she like, oh, can you go? So we go to she don't disclose all this until we on our way to the liquor store because she just kept pressing the issue. And then finally when we get there, that's when she told me how old she was and that she couldn't go in. So I'm like, so she's like, oh, so can you go get it? I'm looking at, oh, you want me to go get this alcohol? Baby, I don't even drink like that for real. I'm a smoker to the day I die. I don't even drink like that for real. I don't do it, right? So I'm like, you want me to go get in here and buy you alcohol? Now, full disclaimer, I'm not saying I did or I didn't, okay? But I'm just saying that was her ask of me, okay? Anyway, somehow, some way, she got her alcohol. Don't know how, don't know what, she got her alcohol. But at that point, I realized that the fact that she even asked me to go in here and buy her alcohol because she couldn't, because she was underage, I was like, well, excuse me, I wasn't 21, I was 22 at this time. So I was like, yeah, this is a no for me, dog. Because I realized that the things I liked to, even though she wasn't that much younger than me, I realized her mindset was still a child, right? And she had not really fully been in the world long enough for her to be on my level so we can hang out and actually do stuff and actually, whatever. I realized that. I was like, so I dropped her off at home. I made up a lie and said, like, hey, I gotta go do something. I gotta go do this, whatever. So I dropped her off at home, I'm not gonna leave nobody stranded. I'm not that kind of girl. Dropped off at home, and then I never talked to her again. I never planned on talking to her again. Now, I unadded her off of Snapchat, and she noticed, and she was like, why you want to add me on Snapchat? I was like, oh, we don't really talk on there. I should have just came out and said it. Like, I can't fuck with you. We don't have nothing. I'm not gonna say we don't have nothing in common, but I could just tell she was younger than me, and her mindset was younger than me. And I have a younger brother, so I kind of felt like she was around. She was even younger than him. So I was like, oh, girl. It was just some things I couldn't, and I'm not saying we couldn't have in common, but it was just some things, the things I wanted to do, you couldn't do. You couldn't come to the bar with me. You can't even go into my job. You know what I'm saying? The events I go to, due to my job, you can't even come because you're not even of age. You can't come hang out with me and my work friends. You know what I'm saying? You can't do none of that. And even I'm the youngest among my work friends. So imagine me bringing you around. Like, it just wasn't going to go. My goal was to have friends to hang out with and do stuff with. And the stuff I like to do. You don't fit into none of that. And even if I was on that type of time with you, which I wasn't. But even if I was on that type of time, I still wouldn't even feel right, like, even fucking with you on that. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get something out of you because we can't do nothing other than that. You know what I'm saying? And that was just a turn off to me. Her being that young was just a turn off to me. Like, I just realized it. Also, I'm not someone who hangs out with younger people. You know what I'm saying? I've always had older friends. And it don't help that I got this real job with all these older people, 30s and up. I'm the youngest, one of the youngest at my job. So, and I'm 22. So it really didn't help. You know what I'm saying? I already got to hold my own, at my job. So now I got to hold my own and come, it just wasn't giving, babe. We can't smoke because you don't know how to inhale. And I just had to teach you. And I guess I'm just not in the teaching position. You know what I'm saying? I like giving advice, but I don't really like teaching somebody. You know what I'm saying? I guess. Anyway, but in that moment, I realized this wasn't going to be it. Same thing Shannon Sharp should have realized. When he realized old girl was 19 and she was talking that yin yap, what Marlon Wayne saying about that vagina, he should have known that. Oh, this ain't it. But see, when you trying too hard to prove something, when you trying so hard to prove that you're not something, you will go and do drastic things like that. Like, for me, I wasn't with old girl. I wasn't trying to prove that I could teach you something. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to prove, I'm older. I wasn't trying to be dominating in that dynamic. I didn't like the dynamic. It made me feel uncomfortable. Even though she was only a couple years younger than me, it was still too young for me, personally. It'd be different if she may have had a little bit more experience, but I still would have been side-eyeing her because I'm like, ooh, you 19? You know how to smoke for real? All right, I'm going to still side-eye you. But we on the same page. Or, oh, you 19 with a fake ID? I'm going to side-eye you, but we on the same page. Okay? You know what I'm saying? But she didn't have none of that. I had to literally teach her everything. And I don't want to be no bad influence. I don't want to be nobody's bad influence. I don't want to be nobody's first time. You know what I'm saying? And so then when she got out of my car, she asked me, did I want to drink? I'm like, nah. First of all, it's Pink Whitney. I'm good. You take that. You gon', Then the kicker was really when she had me drop her off, and she was like, oh, pull up a little bit. Don't drop me off in front of my house. Baby, I was doing that in high school. Baby, I was doing that in college. Like, it just reminded me of those days and how young I was doing those things. So, again, it made me feel uncomfortable because you could. But yeah, so the moment Shannon Sharp found out how old that girl was, I would not even mess with no boy that's 19 years old. I don't care if he had his own car, crib, job, just got out of jail. I don't care. I would not mess with. You're too young. You don't have you can't do nothing for me. Even with all the money in the world, you can't do nothing for me. I was dating a nigga last year, and he was only a year younger than me. But I still felt, I still felt some type of way about it. Because I'm like, I was side-eyeing it, But he treated me nice. He treated me well. He was a good courter. Okay, he courted me, and it was great. But I still was side-eyeing, like, you younger than me? Because I've just always had older friends. I don't know how to explain it. Like, when I was in middle school, it was a girl on my block. She was in high school. I don't even know how we became cool, but we was cool. And she was like, this little girl. She was like, she used to look out for me and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I just always I was in 7th grade, 6th grade, I knew people that was in 8th grade, 9th grade, you know what I'm saying? That I actually hung out with, actually went outside with, actually did stuff with, you know what I'm saying? So, Shannon Sharp knew better. He just didn't, he chose that. And I want people to stop thinking he a freaky nigga. No, it's past that. You know who a freaky nigga is? Chuck Rhodes. Chuck Rhodes is a freaky nigga. Why Chuck Rhodes is a freaky nigga? Because Chuck Rhodes is into BDSM. Okay? But the difference, and Chuck Rhodes is up there. Chuck Rhodes, I think, was in his either late 40s or 50s in that show. Like, his show age. He was in his 40s, 50s. His wife was definitely in either her mid-40s, late 40s. He's definitely in late 40s, early 50s. In the show, they tried to paint him as a freaky nigga because he was at the BDSM. The first episode of Billions, his wife is peeing on him while he's tied up. Because they have a dom-sub relationship in the show. And in the show, they tried to paint him as a freaky nigga. And it was like, look, we finna tell the whole world that you, Attorney State General of New York, like to be in chains and tied up and dominated by your wife, basically. And he had to choose between, do I want somebody else to out me in my business, or do I want to out me in my business? And he chose to out himself. And the people actually messed with it. They actually supported him. His approval ratings actually went up because people really don't care, right? And he did it with his wife. His wife was his colleague. You know, she is well known, but he was doing BDSM in the confines and sanctity of his marriage and of his home, right? His wife was well of age. They had 2 kids together, been married for years. I think like 10 years or something. You know what I'm saying? That's a freaking nigga, but he's justified in his freakiness and his kinks and whatever he likes because he keeps it at home and he keeps it with his wife. You, on the other hand, it's a thumbnail. You, on the other hand, doing it with a 19-year-old. Then y'all was on and off for 2 years. You like that shit. That wasn't a one-time thing. You like that shit. And you was coming out. And you was paying for it. Also, I just don't feel bad because, girl, get your money. Get your money. If they that dumb, get your money. Now, where it gets to be like a no-go for me is, I don't know if these are real text messages. Allegedly, she was saying like no means no. Now, when we get into that, I don't like that. I don't like that because there's a power dynamic of physical, age, experience. Overall, there's just a power dynamic and it's leaning more in his favor. And so, even if this girl said no, you know, this man could overpower her physically, mentally, emotionally. There are some things at 19 I wish I would have known. Now, I was never in a position that she was in positions. But at 19, I'm 25, finna be 26. The shit I know now, and I look back at 19, baby, God had me. Okay? So, it's unfortunate that she had that experience at 19, and she handled it the best way she knew how. But at the end of the day, she's gonna look back and she's gonna be like, I should not have been messing with that man. I don't care how much money he had. But see, I'm at 22, I knew that. I don't care how cool this girl is. I can't mess with her. I can't rock with her. I can't be her friend. We can't hang out. At 22, I knew that. So at 56, you don't think this man know that? No, he knew that. He didn't care. Now, and the difference is her at 19, she didn't know that. She has not lived long enough to know that she should know that. Because me at 19 didn't know that. But me at 25 do. And him at 56 do. That's why Shannon Sharp wrong, period, point blank. And then it was a alleged 2-year relationship. Yeah, my nigga, you knew. Now, also, I just want to say, like, I'm not against age gap relationships, but there's a reason when Noah Cyrus brought that 50-year-old man home, and Noah Cyrus was not 19, okay? Noah Cyrus, what was she, like 23? Something like that, 20? I think me and Noah Cyrus are around the same age, because I think Noah Cyrus is a Gen Z, and Miley, I know Miley is a millennial for sure, but it's the reason why. When she brought that 50-year-old man home, and her mama took her man, I couldn't even get mad. That mama put some, that's what Shannon Sharp needed. She needed Noah Cyrus' mama. That's the kind of woman, because if she took a 50-year-old man from a 23-year-old, baby, I don't even want to know what your mama did. I couldn't even be mad at my mama. I'd be like, you know what, mom, you got that. You ate that little one. You got that. I'll give you another one, you know? But, matter of fact, shout out to both of them. Because that means the mama knows something. She told her daughters how to do it. And then she said, hold on, you ain't doing it right. Let me take that up off your hands. Took Noah Cyrus' man and made him her man. Girl, no, you gotta get it to your mama. But that's, everybody tried to tell Shannon. And you know why everybody tried to tell Shannon? Because they all knew. Either they knew something or they suspected. Somebody knew. Somebody knew. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know, I don't really care. I just had that thoughts because I didn't been in that situation where I was at that crossroad where I had to decide, am I gonna fuck with you? Knowing what I know, knowing how I feel, this makes me uncomfortable. This dynamic makes me uncomfortable. And I have the leverage, but it still made me uncomfortable. So, and I date older. You know, so I know baby girl just, you know, it's unfortunate. It really is, but Shannon Sharp knew better. He knew better. But when you trying to prove something, you go to lengths. You know, you feel like the means justifies the ends because you trying to prove something. What you trying to prove, Shannon? Because you can't prove nothing to no 19-year-old who don't know nothing. But if you was messing with an older chick and you trying to prove something, she'll be like, you know, they would have called you out. They would have known. They would have picked up on it that you trying to prove something. You ain't really trying to prove something, Shannon. All right, y'all. Peace.